Hey guys, welcome to Griffo's Retro Gaming, and today I'm going to be doing my video on the Gamepad in Scarborough, which, fantastic store. I've done a few of these videos now, and yeah, it's hard to get across how the store is. Now, it's a little store, well, like one room really, and it's just crammed full of toys and video games, and wow, fantastic, really is. And it's just from floor to ceiling full, and there's games from all over the world. He's got a lot of Japanese stuff and American, and there's games for pretty much every system. The only downside is you've got to go digging. Personally, I love that, but I know a lot of people don't. But yeah, this time was no different from all the others. I've walked away with some fantastic deals, which I will get into momentarily. I also went to CEX and I picked up one game. Unfortunately, in there was a lot of stuff which I already had, so you know, not really for me, unfortunately, that time. But I'll go through that in a moment. I'll just show you the footage from the Gamepad, and my son was there, so you may see him in the video a little bit, but yeah, he loved it as well. So yeah, definitely get there if you can. But anyway, here's the footage. Enjoy it. And there we have it. And yeah, just I hope that gives you a good idea about the store. Ron, the owner, is a really nice guy. Always helpful. Anything that you need, he'll get, and he always does me a deal. I mean, the first time he didn't even know me, and he did me a deal. So I'm sure he'll do that for most people. Although I don't want to put him out of business. Anyway, so I'll start with my CEX pickup, and you may know from my last videos that I'm getting right into Final Fantasy again. I want to go through all of them as best I can. And yeah, this is no different. This is a Final Fantasy game, although it's more a side sort of game, but it is the Chocobo Tales, the Fables, Final Fantasy Fables, Chocobo Tales, and it's the Chocobos are like, or Chocobo, whatever. They're like a yellow ostrich type thing, really, within the game. If you don't know Final Fantasy, it might show up. There you go. And yeah, this is just a bunch of mini games. Nothing really to do with Final Fantasy, but yeah, fun all the same. And with it saying Final Fantasy, it's nice to stick that in the collection. So happy with that. Okay, so for Gamepad, I've picked up 2 Xbox games, PSP game, 2 Japanese games, 2 Game Boy Advance games, and 2 Game Boy games. So a lot of retro, really. I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, some nice additions. So I'll just go through the 2 Japanese games, and Ron he got a bag and he said, I've got loads of Game Boy games here, Japanese ones, if there's any you want. They're all £2 each. I thought, okay. I like the Dragon Quest series, so there was 2 Dragon Quest games. And there you go. I believe they're the Dragon Quest Monsters games, not the actual mainline games. And it's a bit like Pokemon, I believe. You collect the monsters from within the game and just battle them, I believe. I've got it for the DS, but I haven't played it as yet, so yeah, I'm not too high up on those, but it does say monsters on there. Second one doesn't, but yeah, it's still cool to have 2 Japanese Dragon Quest games in the collection. So I might need to play them with a walkthrough or something, but I don't know if they was released in PAL, but I think they were Japanese only. Correct me if I'm wrong though. Okay, so first up then is the PSP game, which is Innocent Life, A Futuristic Harvest Moon. And yeah, I don't know, you should be familiar with the Harvest Moon games. They're mainly on Nintendo. I don't know, some maybe came out on the PlayStation 2, I'm not overly sure. Not a game I particularly like so much, but I was intrigued by this one. It's a futuristic Harvest Moon, it says, so you use more futuristic ways of like harvesting and things like that. It's not had good reviews, but I'll give it a go at some point. But yeah, you could probably see £10. I think that's about the going rate anyway. For the Xbox games, this one I've been looking for a while, and it's slightly uncommon. You don't see it an awful lot for the Xbox. You do for the PS2, and that is Sphinx. And the Cursed Mummy. Now, this is a 3D action platformer type game, and it's quite interesting, really. So it says you play as Sphinx, a headstrong demigod, and you can interact with hundreds of unique and imaginative creatures, and you also have to complete puzzles as well to advance and things like that. But this was, I don't know if it was remade or it was a port, but it did get a release on the Switch, and I don't know about the other systems. I definitely know it got a release on the Switch though, with a few other like PS2 era games. And yeah, it's all right. It's quite a bit of fun if you. This was £10 as well, which is roughly the going rate, but like I say, you don't see it all too often. But for the PS2, a lot more common, so maybe pick it up for that and give it a go. It's pretty fun. I don't know how much it is on the Switch these days. You could maybe get it digitally in a sale for a lot less, but these are all complete as well, by the way. But yeah, all complete. So that's a fantastic one to add to the collection. Next up then is a game which I don't know if I will play, but again, I don't see it all too often. Only on Xbox title. I don't know if it's a rare game or anything, but like I say, I don't see it all too often. And it is UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship Tap Out. And the graphics on it look fantastic for that sort of era. And speaking to a friend of mine at work, Brad, he said that he got an Xbox back in the day just for this game. So, yeah, I don't know. I might like it, but I've not played any of the modern ones, to be fair. But in here, I was going through the instructions, and it has all the fighters in there, and some of them I did know. There was Dan the Beast 7, obviously from his time in WWF. Chuck Liddell I've heard of. Tito Ortiz. Frank Shamrock. I think he's related to Ken Shamrock, but adopted, not his proper brother. I'm thinking of the same guy. Ken Shamrock, obviously a legend in UFC, and he was also in WWF as well. But yeah, all complete, £4, you know, for a game which you don't see all too often. I'm quite happy with that. Okay, the Game Boy games, and yeah, picked up some belters here. I'll start with the cheapest one, but it's fantastic. I saw it and I thought, do you know what, for the price, it was £6. I thought, I'll grab that and give it a go. And it is, if it'll show, Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. Yeah, Grunty's Revenge. And the job that Rare have done on this is fantastic. It looks really good on the Game Boy Advance screen. And, well, I was playing it through a DS because you get a brighter light on it. But, wow, really, really impressed with it. It's 3D. Bit isometric to give it that sort of 3D sort of look. But, yeah, really, really fun. Got all the collectibles, all the enemies that you need to kill, but I haven't got too far into it. But yeah, if you see it for cheap, definitely pick it up, especially if you like your Banjo-Kazooie and your N64 games. This is quite a bit of fun. Next up on the Game Boy Advance is a game which I do have on the PSP, but I didn't realise. Anyway, it is Breath of Fire 3. And this was released on the SNES originally. I don't think any others. But it's an RPG game, obviously. And yeah, it's really good, really good. I need to get into it, but I booted it up. And the original on the SNES, I mean, it's fantastic, but it was the first thing I noticed. The menus on the SNES can be a bit fiddly and things like that. On the Game Boy Advance, they streamlined it, and it's so much easier. And that does add quite a bit to the game. Graphically, as good as the SNES, as you would imagine on the Game Boy Advance. But yeah, a lot of fun, and he had £12 on this. Again, I think that's about the going rate, but I'm happy with that. A game which I think it was ported, but it is Shadowgate Classic, originally released on the NES, and my cousins had this. I didn't really have a NES, not to begin with. I used to play Friends and stuff and my cousins, but yeah, they had Shadowgate, and it's like a point and click adventure. You've got to work your way through this like castle, and there's loads of pitfalls and things, and you can pick things up and use them and stuff like that. But it's from the first person view rather than a third person and stuff like that. But yeah, it looks just as good on the Game Boy, and I had £12 on it. I think again that's about the going rate. But yeah, if you like Shadowgate on the original NES, then definitely pick this up because it's not a million miles off that. And finally, one which I was absolutely delighted to pick up. I've paid about the going rate, but then again, he's done me a deal, so you know, probably less in hindsight. This is a US copy, but that doesn't bother me. It'll play on the Game Boy all the same, and it is Final Fantasy Legend. And I had Final Fantasy Legend 1 and 2 and Adventure all boxed. And yeah, I sold them when I needed to sell. regretted it ever since because they're fantastic RPG games. Nothing to do with Final Fantasy, and I can't remember what. Anyway, the by Sunsoft, not Square, so they used the Final Fantasy name, I believe, just to try and get them to be popular in Western countries. But yeah, they're fantastic, just as you'd expect from a. Well, after everything I've just said, everything you'd expect from a Final Fantasy game. But yeah, I just need to get 2 and 3 now, but it can get rather expensive. But if you're into your turn-based RPGs, I don't know how I can sell it anymore. They're brilliant. They're really, really, really good. And considering they're on the Game Boy, they're amazing. Really, really are. So if you're into them type of games, definitely pick them up. And that's my pickups from Gamepad, which I'm absolutely delighted with. Every single one of them games I'm going to enjoy. Well, maybe not the Harvest Moon one and UFC, but the others, definitely. But if you're ever in Scarborough, definitely check it out. You'll love it, especially if you're into the toys as well. There's a lot of Star Wars figures and pop figures and all kinds of things, really. Games-wise, every single system. Loads of cartridge-based games, Mega Drive, all sorts. And I don't know how much more I can sell it to you, really. So I'm going to leave it there. Yes, it's a short video, but that's how we like it. And I just want to say thank you for watching and supporting the channel. As always, that's why I do these. No reason to, other than to entertain people, and I hope that comes across in these videos. So yeah, thanks again, and I shall see you very soon with another pickups video, because I still haven't done the review yet. Another pickups video for the last 2 months, which I've got a console as well, so watch out for that. So thanks again, everyone. Take care, and I'll see you very soon.